The wait is finally over for all the tennis fans out there because the news we have all been waiting for regarding the rising star of the Philippines, Alex Eala, has officially been confirmed. If you are a true tennis enthusiast tracking her incredible journey, you know that this upcoming week is going to be absolutely historic for Philippine tennis. Today, we are diving deep into the shocking schedule updates, her direct main draw entry, and the massive challenges waiting for her at the prestigious Washington D.C. tournament, the Mubadala Citi DC Open. Before we break down the incredible lineup, the precise dates, and what this means for her global ranking, make sure you stay tuned until the very end because the shift in her tournament entry strategy changes everything. For her 2026 season, Alex Eala has been making serious waves across the international tennis circuit, proving time and again that she belongs on the biggest stages of the sport. From her intense battles on the European clay to the grass courts of Wimbledon, her growth has been nothing short of phenomenal. But her next destination is taking her to the hard courts of the United States, specifically the WTA 500 event in Washington, D.C., scheduled to run from July 27 to August 2, 2026. For a player of her age, competing at a WTA 500 level is a massive milestone because the competition here is fierce, the prize money is substantial, and the ranking points up for grabs can completely skyrocket a player into the elite top tiers of the world rankings. Now let us talk about the most shocking and exciting update regarding her entry into this tournament. In the past, whenever we saw young rising stars from Southeast Asia trying to make their mark in heavy-tier U.S. tournaments, they almost always had to rely on wildcards from tournament organizers or battle through the grueling, exhausting rounds of the qualifiers just to get a spot in the main bracket. Qualifiers are mentally and physically draining, often forcing a player to play multiple high-intensity matches before the actual tournament even begins. But here is the big twist for Washington, D.C. Alex Eala does not need a wildcard, and she does not have to play the qualifiers. Thanks to her phenomenal performances over the last few months and her steadily climbing WTA ranking, she has secured a direct main draw entry. This means she goes straight into the main tournament, fully rested, fully focused, and ready to face the world's best from day one. This is a massive psychological and physical advantage for her, because it shows the tennis world that she is no longer just a promising junior transition player. She is a direct competitor accepted on her own merit among the elite field. To appreciate the gravity of this direct entry, we must look at how much it alters a player's preparation. Instead of arriving a week early to fight through undercard matches against lower-ranked opponents who have nothing to lose, Eala can now structure her training blocks with absolute certainty. She can adjust her sleep schedule, analyze court speeds, and map out her tactical warm-ups with precision. This level of predictability is exactly what top-tier athletes require to maintain peak performance throughout a grueling season. Her coaching staff can now scout the main draw players directly, knowing exactly who is in the field and preparing tailor-made strategies for every potential playing style she might encounter on the stadium courts. The Mubadala Citi DC Open is played on outdoor hard courts, which is a surface that requires extreme lateral quickness, powerful baseline hitting, and an incredibly reliable serve. Fortunately, hard courts suit Alex Eala's aggressive baseline style perfectly. She loves to dictate play with her heavy left-handed forehand, pushing her opponents deep behind the baseline and opening up angles to finish points early. However, because this is a WTA 500 event, the player field is absolutely stacked with Grand Slam contenders, former world number ones, and top 10 specialists. While the exact tournament draws and her specific first-round opponent will be officially drawn and released just a couple of days before the action begins on July 27th, we already know the terrifyingly strong list of players she could potentially face right out of the gate. Imagine a first-round clash against Canada's powerhouse Leylah Fernandez. That would be an absolute dream match for fans, featuring two incredible left-handed players with incredible fighting spirits. Or potentially, she could find herself across the net from the American homegrown superstar Madison Keys, whose thunderous serves and flat ground strokes thrive on the Washington hard courts. Other top-tier competitors locked into the player field include Ukraine's resilient Marta Kostyuk and Russia's highly consistent Anna Kalinskaya. Every single name in this draw represents a monumental challenge, but it is exactly the kind of test Alex Eala needs to prove she belongs in the top tiers of the world rankings. Competing in Washington, D.C. during late July also brings a massive external factor that many casual fans overlook, and that is the weather. Washington in the summer is notorious for its extreme heat and suffocating humidity. Matches on the hard courts can quickly turn into physical battles of attrition, where the court surface absorbs the sun and radiates intense heat back up at the players. This is where Alex's physical conditioning, which she has been working on relentlessly, will be put to the absolute test. Managing her energy levels, staying hydrated, and keeping her composure under the blistering American sun will be just as crucial as her tactical execution on the court. The high humidity can make balls feel heavier and alter their flight through the air, forcing players to adjust their footwork and strike zones constantly to avoid costly unforced errors. Furthermore, playing on the global stage means adapting to shifting schedules and tournament regulations that can impact recovery windows. In a high-stakes environment like a WTA 500 event, match timing can change overnight due to weather delays or marathon 3-set matches earlier in the day. Eala will need to maintain elite mental resilience to handle these inevitable disruptions, ensuring that whether she takes the court under the blistering midday sun or under the bright stadium lights at night, her intensity remains completely uncompromised. This ability to block out external chaos and focus strictly on the yellow ball is what separates the good players from the true champions. For her massive fan base, distributed heavily across the Philippines and the United States, the timing of this tournament is perfect. It bridges the gap between the historic grass court season and the upcoming final Grand Slam of the year, the U.S. Open. Success in Washington, D.C. would not only give her massive confidence, but would practically guarantee her a comfortable spot in future major tournaments without the stress of qualifying draws. The entire sports world is watching to see if this young prodigy can convert her direct entry into a deep tournament run. Every victory at this level yields massive rewards in terms of ranking points, helping her climb higher up the ladder and earning her the respect of her peers on the tour. The financial and professional implications of this tournament cannot be understated either. Securing a spot in the main draw of a prestigious event ensures that Eala will walk away with a significant boost to her career earnings and valuable points, regardless of the opening round outcome. However, knowing her fierce competitive nature and her drive to elevate Philippine tennis to unprecedented heights, she will not be content with just showing up. She is going to Washington, D.C. to make a statement, to win matches, and to prove that she can go toe-to-toe with the absolute best in the business on any given day. The technical demands of the outdoor courts will test her to her limits. Hard courts do not offer the same natural slide as clay or the quick slice bounce of grass, meaning that every step must be explosive, and every adjustment must be made with perfect footwork. Over the course of a tournament week, this high-impact surface places massive stress on a player's joints, knees, and lower back. Eala's team will undoubtedly be focusing heavily on recovery protocols, ice baths, and targeted stretching to ensure she remains fresh match after match. This meticulous attention to off-court care is what allows the world's best to maintain their explosive speed, even in the final sets of a grueling 3-hour match. Another fascinating element to watch will be her tactical evolution. Facing opponents who possess raw power like Madison Keys or crafty baseline variations like Leylah Fernandez requires completely different game plans. Eala cannot simply rely on hitting her opponents off the court. She will need to display a mature selection of shots, mixing deep topspin ground strokes with timely drop shots and net approaches to disrupt her opponent's rhythm. This tactical flexibility is exactly the bridge she needs to build to transition seamlessly from a dangerous young challenger into a consistent tournament threat on the main tour. The global tennis media has also started taking notice of her entry, with analysts projecting her as one of the most exciting dark horses in the entire draw. Being labeled as a player to watch adds a different kind of pressure, but Eala has shown throughout her young career that she handles the spotlight with incredible grace and maturity. Rather than being weighed down by expectations, She has historically used the energy of the crowd to fuel her comebacks and elevate her game during critical breakpoints. The roaring support she receives from the Filipino community in the United States will undoubtedly make the Washington Stadium feel like a home court for her,